Hey, it's your old pal Slim, and this is 70 Millimeter, a podcast for movie lovers just like you. Disclaimer at the top of this show, we are not experts. We're doing Citizen Kane, and we're not experts. Just want to reiterate at the top of the show, folks. With me each and every episode is my close friend and artist, Danny Haas.
Hello.
And our close friend and movie insider, Protolexis.
Shangri-La, El Dorado, VHS Village.
Every movie that we cover is connected to a theme for that month, and this time it's Win-Vember. The hosts get to choose any movie they want, and you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip to our main discussion. It's my pick from Orson Welles in 1941, Citizen Kane. But the big story tonight, okay. Gremlins 3.
Huge.
The Gremlin universe, the big announcement. They're bringing the master out of retirement, Chris Columbus, to go back to where it all began. The Gremlins. Danny, you've got to be over the roof excited for this news, right? Gremlins? I'm Grimhead?
I'm not a Grimhead. I don't enjoy those movies. But also, I haven't watched them since I was a teen. So maybe it's time to revisit. You're shaking your head like you've watched it every year, Proto. You haven't seen it in 20 years.
You don't know a thing about me.
I
Gremlins.
know everything.
You don't know anything. You don't know what you're talking about. I watched the first Gremlins in the past 2 years. And I had a fine time with that movie. You can look back at that when I reviewed that. I gave that a glowing review, if I remember correctly. And I will have an update on Gremlins 2 next week for our long goodbye episode.
You'll settle the score.
I am settling the score. I'm getting to the bottom of all this meta movie business people keep talking about. Gremlins 2. It's been 25 years and they won't shut up about the meta elements of this film.
Who exactly is not shutting up about the meta elements in Gremlins 2?
I don't know anything.
Can we name names? Can we name them now on the show?
First person
live?
I know name is Slim. Every time this movie comes up, you don't shut up about this element. So that's number one.
Public enemy number one.
Yeah.
Myself looking in the mirror.
Yeah. And then, look in our Discord, just search Gremlins. Like the Gremlins, they just pop up. Joe Dante, you guys know that the backstory of Joe Dante in this movie didn't want to do it.
We have to move on. We have too much show. We can't dwell on Proto's feelings on the Gremlin cinematic universe. We will be covering Citizen Kane at the bottom of the hour. I think I mentioned this. I don't remember when I mentioned this, but I mentioned that Citizen Kane is not even on the Letterboxd top 250. Because I was comparing, Letterboxd folk with IMDb. Mm-hmm. IMDb's top 100. I thought it might be fun to go through IMDb's top 10. But first, the number one on Letterboxd is Harakiri.
Okay.
Considered by Letterboxd members as the greatest movie of all time, narrative feature. And we did that episode previously just for our patrons, but for 1 week only as of right now. When this episode is out, you can go to our Patreon and listen to that episode for free for 1 week. That's what our paid members of our Patreon get behind the paywall, but we're just going to give you a taste this week. Go to patreon.com/70mm to listen to our Harakiri episode. Absolute banger film. Proto, are you familiar with the IMDb top 100? Do you have any clue what might be the top 3 on there?
Yeah, it's Harakiri, it's Citizen Kane, Fight Club, and Inception.
Inception. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Danny, do you have any guesses?
No.
Was it Gremlins 2? Not at the top of your list?
IMDb. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Bunch of psychos on that site.
I know. Can you imagine? I mean, you were almost one of those
Is Psycho
psychos
on
last
it?
week. Remember you said you were going to move to IMDb and start
Remind me why?
reviewing movies?
Is there an update on that?
I will settle the score.
Did you follow through on that
I
hollow
haven't
threat?
touched IMDb ever.
The number one movie on IMDb is the highest rated film, the greatest film ever made, The Shawshank Redemption. That's number
Okay.
one. That's a 9.3.
I can argue with that.
Number two, the second greatest movie ever made, The Godfather.
Okay.
9.2 as well. Number three, the third best movie ever made in the history of cinema, The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm. This
Well, I
feels like
basically got that.
this
then.
feels like a millennials dorm room.
Right. It does.
Is Scarface
Actually, no.
up there
It
too?
might even be Gen X. Right?
Is this a Gen X dorm room?
Gen
Yeah.
X dorm. We're getting
Yeah.
there. Number four, Schindler's List on the
That's
IMDb.
definitely Gen X coded.
Absolutely. Number
Absolutely.
5, 12 Angry Men.
Dang. There's some
Uh,
historians on this site.
I don't even know how these folks know how to rent a movie from 1957. These IMDb members. Number 6, really, this one nails it home. I think Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is the 6th best movie ever
What?
made.
Remove this site. Can we DDoS their ass? This is ridiculous.
7.
Wait,
Go
Okay, keep
ahead.
going.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say,
You got real excited.
I'm
What?
looking
Did
at
you-
the list. 9 and 10, it's Inception and Fight Club.
I can't believe Inception is up there. We're talking about the greatest movies ever made.
ever made.
Inception is number 9 after Fellowship of the Ring and The Godfather Part 2. Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Fight Club. I haven't watched Fight Club in 20 years.
Jared Leto made the top 10.
This is the future people want. I think we need to close the list. Interstellar is 15. So it's pretty far down there.
Inception over Interstellar.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's an absolutely
Psychos.
crazy list, folks. If you're free, if you have some free time and you want to see what the IMDb members, the IMDb community is saying, get in there.
Wait, can we just go back to something you started with? Did I hear that right? Did you say that Citizen Kane is not in the Letterboxd top 250?
That's
I'm
correct.
Psychotic.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's a 4.2, so it's very highly rated, but it does not make the cutoff for the Letterboxd top 250.
Wow, that's nuts.
Let me see what the let's see. Harakiri's a 4.7 on that. So that's number 1. 12 Angry Men does make the list at number 2. The Human Condition Part 3 is number 3 right now. I've watched the first 2 and I couldn't bring myself to finish the trilogy, but Come and See is number 4 and Seven Samurai is number 5.
Human Condition Part 3 is Letterboxd's Return of the King.
Oh my God. I was asked in live chat what the cutoff is for ratings. It's very close. The number 250 is Poetry, and that's a 4.2. So we're getting into the decimal point system to see what the cutoff
4.2
is.
is Citizen Kane below 4.2 on Letterboxd?
No, it is 4.2, but I think it's
Oh, okay.
4.2 point whatever.
We need the listeners to do the work.
They need to start doing the work.
I mean, to do the work, watch the movie, rate the movie.
Hillary in chat on the IMDb list, not a woman in sight on this list. It's Hillary's words, not mine.
Yeah.
Her words.
Definitely Gen X coded.
Just a reminder, Citizen Kane, quote, the greatest movie ever made by many people are saying. We'll get into it at the bottom of the hour. We'll say hello to some new patrons who have gotten access in the past to Harakiri, and they will get access to our December episodes. Costinha, Jane, Courtney, and Matt all became paid patrons and got access to our Discord and uncut episodes. But let's talk about what we watched this week. Pardo, you watched Weapons. Did we talk about this?
No.
Weapons?
No, we have not. I watched it Halloween night.
Sheesh.
Had a great Halloween with my family. Got out, did the candy exercises. They all came back with 5 pounds of candy. We're now suffering. We've been suffering for a week. Spent some time with some neighbors. Really nice time. And then it was like, it was late. Then I watched I think I was Game 7 of World Series.
Halloween night.
And I gotta say, Blue Jays were down a run, and there was no doubt in my mind that they were going to win this game. Like,
you really thought they were going to come back? Oh
yeah, 100%. Like, there was no doubt that they were going to. And so when it ended the way it did, you can't trust live sports anymore. The script's right there, and they just Anyway. Congratulations to the Dodgers, and congratulations to me, because I then put on Weapons, and what a delight. What a delightful movie. I love this movie.
Get into it.
HBO Max providing. I didn't get to see this in theaters, and then I was like, do I wait? And it was a long wait. This movie was out in the summer, so I had to wait a long time. I had to wait until Halloween, but I was finally able to watch it, and man, it's so much fun. I think Kreger is, like, the way he's making horror movies, it's different enough that there's just like a level of spice that this and Barbarian has that I find really engaging. Like, I love the story. I love the way that it was told. It had great elements of humor in it that I think like a horror movie that has good humor really is like that special sauce that can make them stand out to balance the tension, of like because there's like some high tension in this, where I'm gripping my seat. So I love that. I think he's he's somewhat of a maestro, perhaps. He's putting in the work, and I'm benefiting from it. So thank you, Mr. Kreger, for all that you're doing. I don't even want to say, there's somebody in this movie who had I didn't know they were in it, and when they popped up, I was like, "Oh, this is fantastic!"
You're hooting and hollering.
Yeah, a little hoot, a little holler. I can't recommend it enough.
Very funny.
I give it 5 stars.
5 stars. What did you give Barbarian? 4?
3.
Oh God. Rep.
Yeah.
Weapons is very funny. A lot of laughs. The way people were exclaiming WTF, I think, at often scenes in that movie. I read, too, that I think it came out like when this movie came out, but he's like making his own Resident Evil movie. But I don't think he's seen any Resident Evil movies. It's just like he's doing his own thing, which I found fascinating. But then I also read maybe something on subreddit today about subreddit r/movies. I guess he had written a script when he was working for a studio that Netflix got, and maybe like before he got like super huge, but they're trying to make that movie, but he's maybe saying no because Netflix doesn't want to do a theatrical release. So we'll see.
Oh,
it's like a sci-fi movie or something.
Hello.
That seems
Danny,
crazy.
when are you going to dig into these horror movies? It's time, right?
What are you talking about? I've seen Barbarian.
When are you going to dig into Weapons? It's time, right?
Is it time? I guess maybe it's time. I'm not opposed to watching. I honestly just keep forgetting about it, if I could be honest. I don't think I forgot about it until Proto watched it recently.
You're a busy guy.
It seems gory and scary, right?
It's scary.
Who knows?
Yeah. So
ultimately, who knows?
I gotta get back into the mental Halloween mindset to watch this movie, I guess.
It's all year round.
I've moved on. You moved
on for Halloween?
It's fall. We're coming into Christmas. I got to get my rom-coms up. I have to, Halloween's over. We're in November.
It's not over.
Halloween is over. We're in November.
I heard my dear wife.
Halloween is over. We're in November.
Decorations down.
My dear wife made the proclamation that our 9-foot tall Grim Reaper is staying up all year round.
Hello,
so a huge marital win because we don't have to take that shit down.
No HOA over there.
We don't have to store it in the garage. That bad boy is up all year.
Okay.
That thing going to be parts in 8 months. after the winter.
We'll see. It was been very windy these last few weeks, and he has stood his ground.
Do you guys have it chained down?
Oh yeah, we have like metal
no,
rods
no idiot
holding
kids
that
can
thing
steal
down.
it.
I dare some idiot to steal that from my yard.
Okay, don't say that
My
out loud.
720p widescreen Google Nest camera will catch their ass. Okay?
You know what? You guys are going to become the Grim Reaper house. Like people are going to be like, there's that house that always has the Reaper up. Like, what's the deal?
I don't see a downside to that. I'd rather be the Grim Reaper house than some house, that leaves cardboard outside in their driveway for 10 months. Or like, oh, there's that POS family that doesn't clean up their driveway. I'd rather be the Grim Reaper house.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to both, I think.
The jury's out, in my opinion.
Will you throw like Christmas lights on them?
Oh, stay tuned, baby.
Now we're talking.
Stay tuned. I'm a big fan of Christmas, personally. We'll put those lights up.
I didn't say you weren't.
You alluded to the fact that you're the only one that loves Christmas season.
I didn't say you weren't. I said Halloween's over.
It's now Star Wars season, as Danny has logged every Star Wars Vision episode.
I still haven't watched season 3 yet, okay?
How many unfollows did you get after logging all those Star Wars Visions?
You think I care who follows me on Letterboxd?
You're right. Actually, you were just near a milestone. Do I need to give a status update on that?
We don't need any status updates.
Let's go back to the Danny on Letterboxd.
Those who stick around are real ones.
You're almost to the 2K mark.
It's great.
That's like 6 million people on other social.
That's great. No, it's fantastic.
Platforms. So
just wait till I log all of season 3 of Visions. We'll see who sticks around.
That's out. Did we confirm that that's out and no one's talking about it? What's going on?
I did start watching it.
There you go.
I watched the first few. I haven't logged them though.
I will say my oldest daughter is pissed at me for not watching it because she said the last episode is amazing. So she keeps asking me every day, when am I starting it? When am I starting it?
But it is weird that no one's talking about it, right? Can we confirm?
In my Star Wars crowd has talked about it. So it's probably just more niche this time around. Third season.
Okay. Pro, did you want to talk about any other movies? Something Wicked This Way Comes. Is that worth a statement of sorts from you?
Yeah, I just, as I'm watching, I put it on because my boys wanted to watch a movie, and I was like, hey, there's this new old movie on Disney. Let's try it out. They disappeared after like a half hour, and then I kind of, find myself asking, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I continuing to watch this? I felt like I had to finish it to kind of like check it off my list, that I did it. So when I die, I can say that I did it. I watched Something Wicked This Way Comes. It was okay. I really like Ray Bradbury as a writer. I kind of want to read his book, the book that it's based on, because his other stories that I've read, I've really liked. The ending of this, though, is really great. There's some really amazing effects. I put that in my review that there's an incredible Return of the Jedi homage at the end of this. Just like the whole budget is in the last 10 minutes of this movie. So maybe check that out.
Emperor Palpatine in the final act getting tossed down a well.
Exactly. Yes.
Danny, what about you? What have you been up to besides
I got around
from your Star Wars Visions watch?
I got around to a screener this week. I was given a screener, Sony Classic Pictures. I watched the 2025 film from Jason Vanderbilt, Nuremberg, starring Russell Crowe and Rami Malek. And I gave it 3.5 stars. It is good. So it's the Nuremberg trials, but this one is specifically based on a book called The Nazi and the Psychiatrist. So Remy plays the psychiatrist that is kind of cracking the code of Russell Crowe's Hermann Göring, which is a prominent Nazi general, almost like the right hand of Hitler at the time. So the International Military Tribunal is like trying 22 of like the highest ranking Nazis post World War II. This is the first time like the Allies had gotten together to have this tribunal. Anyway, Rami Malek is probably one of the most miscast person I feel like I've ever seen. And I feel like it's in this film, it feels like the most like him trying to stand toe to toe with Russell, who's speaking German in this film.
What?
Incredible accent, incredible performance. And then you have Remy flailing about like Kermit the Frog, trying to give some sort of emotional response to anything. I just couldn't get over it. He's just, and I like Remy, just not in this.
Obviously.
It was off. It's just the vibes were off with him. I feel bad because I really enjoyed what they did with this film. I mean, this film's rad. An almost like a 1-to-1 recreation of the trials themselves. It looked incredible, shot incredible, great score, and Russell's amazing it. But man, if anyone sits down to watch this, I'd love their take on Remy. So,
has he recovered since the Bond movie? Was that the turning point?
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Can we not?
He was also in that like pandemic movie with Jared Leto and...
It's time to go back to TV.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Remy is like, he's just like a man of the 21st century. I'm not believing this face existed in the 1940s. You know, you just look at that face.
Yeah.
He's like a model. He's got a face. He's got a very distinct face.
He's got a face.
He definitely has a face.
Yeah.
When are you going to watch Judgment at Nuremberg?
I started to fire it up this week, and then I saw that it was 3 hours long. And so I didn't have the time to give it the viewing it deserves because we were coming up on Citizen Kane.
Oh, yeah.
So, I had to put the time in for Citizen Kane and not for another Nuremberg movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. I can't remember how I first watched it. Oh, Hoopla. But then I ended up getting the Blu-ray for Judgment at Nuremberg.
Yeah, I really want to watch it.
Wild movie. Proto was grilling me pre-show about why I haven't been watching any movies. What am I up to? He even threw out an accusation that I was reading books again.
What?
It was some unsettling stuff.
Confess.
Yeah, so now you have to confess. What is it?
Just have been watching Stranger Things still. We're trying to finish before the new season. We just finished season 2 tonight.
A lot of accusations going around right now.
Hopper having just the all-time worst run in maybe PR history right now.
It's rough.
So I can't even imagine. I mean, maybe they're doing the PR stuff now, the press for the new season. I wonder what that's going to be like. But season 2 is the one where she looks... But it starts with like her sister. Remember how the season started with like the gang,
that weird
the
emo
X-Men gang?
Yeah.
And then you don't even get to that sister until like the second to last episode or whatever.
I forgot about that.
But yeah, it's okay. 11 in this season is just like really bad. Like she's talking like she's never spoken English before. She's never heard words. And she's always like, when Hopper says compromise, she sits there, she's like, compromise? And that happens every episode, folks. So it's just insufferable.
I do remember season 2 being such a downer.
It's not great, but I think the mall one is next season. So season 3 is the mall one. So we're back. We are officially
What's the
back.
brother's name that gets invited? He's the lifeguard and all the moms want him.
Oh yeah, he's actually in season 2 as well.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, in the last episode, they lay the seeds for him and the mother. Remember, she's like, she's in the shower or bath, and she has to answer the door in her towel, and he's there. Oh my God,
that's when it starts.
She was ready. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Is that okay, Prot? Is that better than reading a book or worse in your mind?
However you want to spend your time. I support you.
Thank you. Thank you. Grelephant Matt in chat. When is the final season coming out? These kids are going to be 40. I mean, they are aging rapidly, but I think the new season comes out in like 3 weeks. But it's not a full drop. It takes place over the course of like 2 months or something.
Wasn't there the rumor that the finale was in the theater?
That's what I heard. The finale is going to air in theaters. So
isn't it like the first few are like on Thanksgiving and then the rest are on Christmas?
And then the finale is New Year's.
Very
They're
interesting.
just trying to occupy the holidays. Kind of sick.
I like it.
I mean, I don't understand the like all episodes rollout for these shows. Like they could control mainstream conversation if it was like weekly or this, I feel like. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I mean,
into
they
it.
became so iconic with like the whole binge thing.
Yeah.
So maybe they feel like that's their identity. They can't escape that. But it feels like terrible for like PR because like the show kind of comes and goes in a week. It's weird.
I think that is it before we get into the main course. Episode 289, Citizen Kane, 1941, the big one. This is Winvember. We get to choose the movies. We need a win emotionally on this show. We've been put through the ringer. You know?
Yeah.
You see some of these watch parties the last couple months. People, taking off their belt and dookying on these movies that we're trying to learn something about. We're trying to experience something new, and then it's just constant duke. But maybe those days are in the past for Winvember.
They learned their lesson.
What's this movie all about?
Citizen Duke. Charles Foster Kane? Yeah, I knew him. As much as you can know a stranger. He was born with nothing. Until it was discovered he had a gold mine under his feet. His mother put his assets into a trust and appointed a guardian to manage his growing fortune. Becoming one of the richest men in the world, Kane's interests and ambitions were endless and uninhibited, leading to a career of influence in newspapers and a failed attempt in politics. His lasting work was his personal home, Xanadu, a sprawling estate that housed all that he collected. But with how quickly he acquired his vast holdings, it disappeared just as quickly, leaving only behind the mystery of a man who burned bright and then vanished. What is Rosebud? And who was Charlie Kane? Citizen Kane.
What a picture. Danny, what's your history with Citizen Kane? Do you have one?
I've only seen this week I watched it twice. I'd only seen it one time before. So no real history outside of just being always told that this is the greatest movie ever made, which I feel like only made me never want to watch it, honestly. Yeah. And also I don't think I was really into, going back into the 40s or whatever for a black and white film until more recently. So the fact that I'm just now watching it as an adult who cares about this stuff probably helped. So yeah, I don't really have an history with it.
I think I saw this in college, or high school, or maybe I was taking like a film class at the community college. So they wheeled out that TV and played Citizen Kane, and then we talked about it. And then I rewatched it for the first time as an adult in 2020. I have it logged, and I couldn't help but make a remark that his fireplace is bigger than my living room. The biggest fireplace I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I couldn't believe what I had seen in 2020. I had an amazing time rewatching it, and that was before, I guess the Blu-ray release probably, and obviously the 4K. There's a 4K disc that I watched. Danny, how did you watch it? Did you watch digital?
I watched the Criterion 4K.
Okay. Pardo, what's your history?
I think I saw this in high school as well. I don't know if I watched this on my own or if I watched it with my dad. My only reason I don't think I would have watched it with my dad because he wasn't really a fan of older movies. Like I can't remember him ever showing me a black and white movie. So I don't know if we did, but I definitely remember watching it and being really confused by like how the story was told, like not understanding what was happening and kind of just like being generally kind of bored with it, I think. And then I as well rewatched it in 2020 and I had a similar experience. I had like an amazing time, I think because I understood it much better. And I might have watched it I think I watched it streaming somewhere. So I was kind of blown away by revisiting it. And I think it's a movie that is better the more you rewatch it. Mm-hmm. So I think that definitely helped.
Yeah, and the disc came with 2 audio commentaries. one of which was Roger Ebert that I
Yeah.
think Proto maybe even watched. And this isn't like these commentaries aren't on our podcast feed, Jibop, where we can listen to audio commentaries at our leisure as a podcast episode. I had to fire this disc up. Or if you own the Apple copy, you could watch and listen to Roger Ebert. What an amazing commentary from Roger. It literally felt like I was in film class for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. I watched
he was giving a lecture. And it was honestly awesome, like sitting there listening to Roger Ebert go on about like the technical aspects of the movie. It was something else. Let's see where to start. Who wants to, it's my pick. I guess I can start.
Yeah, you got it. It's yours.
Orson Welles was 25 years old and he made Citizen Kane. And he got like creative control on this movie. He had done the radio broadcast War of the Worlds that brought him some notoriety. And I think he had done like a traveling theater troupe or something where he was putting on shows. But he gets to do this movie at 25. And right out of the gate, he makes what would eventually be considered one of the greatest movies of all time. Like, it boggles the mind what he was able to accomplish at such a young age. And I tried to see like other, like what it was like. Quentin's first movie was Reservoir Dogs, Ari Aster, Hereditary, Jordan Peele, Get Out. Like those are some like recent ones that just come to mind that are, those are up there as well as like amazing films. But I just can't get over how it's physically possible to produce this movie at his age. Proto, what did you think of Orson at this age and being able to pull it all together?
Yeah, I think that the thing that is amazing is that this movie, it seems like there's so much film magic in this movie. And it's like how as a director was he able to accomplish this without experience, without like trial and error of doing other movies, to then like come out and do the things that they do in this movie where the shots are so interesting and like kind of like when you look at it, like there's certain I every time I watch this I stop and rewind certain parts because I'm like, what am I even looking at right now? Like first I'm trying to understand what I'm looking at, and then I try to imagine of like how did they even compose the shot with the light and the different things they do. So the fact that this is his first movie, and maybe a lot has to do with like the team that was behind him, but I mean, you don't stumble into making Citizen Kane, like this doesn't have my axe in it. So it just blows my mind that the movie looks the way it does and the story is told the way it does, and this is his first shot. It's insane.
I mean, I don't even know what to say, honestly. It's I've only seen this twice now. Well, 3 times with the Ebert commentary, and I'm the same way. I'm completely baffled by him just at 25 creating a literal masterpiece, if I can be honest. And to have surrounded himself with people who also, like actor-wise, only had their either stage or radio performances with him.
Mm-hmm.
To trust that their performances were going to... Bernard Herrmann, it's his first movie score ever, which is also wild.
Yeah.
So it's like these people who maybe not just starting, because they did have their success with radio, but like just starting in cinema to create something out of the gate like this is really mind-blowing to me. I mean, I think I just sit there and I look at every frame, like Proto said, and either go back or pause or just question. I would love to have just seen them work out some scenes. And I know Ebert talks about a lot of it too, which is this is why I would like recommend anybody watching it with the Ebert commentary, because he knows an absolute like scholar on this film. It felt like, but yeah, I'm like in awe of Orson Welles, and I have not seen anything else. That's why I went back and looked. I haven't seen anything else of Orson Welles. Not The Third Man. And I really not F or Fake. I like nothing.
Yeah.
The hell is that noise?
There's an airplane.
Oh.
I have seen Touch of Evil. I have seen Chimes at Midnight, and I have seen The Third Man. Touch of Evil, is that the one with the weird score? No. Oh, that Charlton Heston plays a Mexican special prosecutor, Miguel Vargas. That one, I think, is like, or he has many movies where he lost control of the movie and like the studio took over and released their own version. So a lot of his like later career is him battling the machine and sometimes losing. I think that's like part of his aura over the years. And Touch of Evil, I think, was like recut to be closer to his final, dream product. I really want to watch The Trial with Anthony Perkins. I feel like that was on my watch list for some time. F for Fake. Chimes at Midnight I really didn't like, but yeah, I mean, even his actual career is so fascinating to look at of like, what did he do after? Everyone talks about Citizen Kane and Orson Welles, but I mean, like, for, I guess, folks younger than us or even us, like, what the hell did Orson do? Like, a lot of the stuff I remember of Orson Welles is like the older bearded guy doing the voiceover, or like, didn't he voice somebody in the Transformers movie? I think that was also like one of the the things
Unicron.
That bring up about Orson Welles. And I think what became of him is like he would do acting roles so that he could do his like passion projects with studios, and more often than not, like he just ran into problems with the machine in making those projects.
Yeah, it's wild. I was just looking at the cinematographer who, I mean, he did a ton of movies. Like he was probably Greg Toland. He was at the end of his career, I guess. Like the last movie he made was in 1948. Citizen Kane was in 1941. But he's also like, it's crazy looking at his filmography because it's like at this period of Hollywood where like it was just a grinder, between, let's see, 1939 and 1941. So 3 years, he's the cinematographer for 10 movies in 3 years. So it's just like, he's just grinding them out. But Citizen Kane's in there that he did. And he also did The Grapes of Wrath, which is one of his other movies I've seen.
I read that like he was on loan to this picture from MGM. Like, I guess, this is part of that era where like all these actors and crew members they only work for that studio and they just like get, put on these projects. But I mean, the Greg Toland stuff is nuts. Like him wanting to do this project because he wanted to work with like a first-time director because he felt like he would be challenged by someone who didn't know how movies were made. So that would like force him to try new things. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like the fade outs that like Ebert also points out every scene in that commentary. Visually, it's like so striking. I'm sure one of us has the visuals of this movie as like one of their points for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Greg is like my first point, but I know I've referenced the Ebert thing so much. The amount of times Ebert said that this film has just as much, if not more, special effects shots than Star Wars, like that. And then when you watch it from that eye of how much isn't there that they're filming, is mind blowing. Like, where are all these matte paintings?
Oh my God.
And if anyone has gotten rid of them, string them up. Like, I want them indicted for crimes against humanity. Because
where are the Nuremberg trials for the people that got rid of these matte paintings?
I mean, it feels like there's a matte painting for every scene in this film, and it's the amount of artistry that went into this movie is just. I mean, you kind of notice it when you watch it, but when you have someone like Ebert pointing out every scene, how it was filmed, them pushing for that cloth ceilings just so they can shoot low angle shots of them in the buildings, and having the microphones hidden behind the ceilings that are just pieces of cloth. Like, that's just like incredible stuff. That's simple, but they're doing it for Citizen Kane. Like, they're doing it for someone's first movie.
I remember that was one of the things I remember growing up was like they had never filmed from that camera angle before, where like they're underneath a floor, like looking
they
up.
cut into the floor.
Like this has never been done ever in the history of filmmaking. And like your point about the special effects, that almost like rocked my world when Roger said that, because he also said that, I think it was that commentary where he was saying how like it worked against the film, at least at the onset for most people, like it was almost too distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Like because people felt the movie looked fake, where it was like obviously, effects or something too weird. Nowadays, or like decades later, that it was like the norm. And like all those technologies as they were doing was like commonplace.
Yeah, when he talked about the shot of Citizen Kane doing his rally before he was like being governor, and the high shot where it was like they filmed him on stage with like 12 people, and then the crowd is nothing but a painted crowd with lights behind it to give it movement. And then there's two people clapping off to the side, which is a whole other set of frames that they film separate. So it's like 3 layers of film in the 40s, creating a shot that I wouldn't have questioned, especially watching the 4K. It's an incredible process, but it's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch that commentary, but the thing that blew my mind is the shot where they're having the party at the newspaper, and there's them, and it's like Kane and his pals sitting in the foreground, and then there's like the dancing going on behind them, and they're both in focus. And as I'm watching this, I'm thinking like, I don't think this is a split diopter that,
Right.
So this is like 2 frames at once. They must have layered this. But then he reaches for him and grabs Kane out of the first row. And I was like, what is happening? Like, how did they do this? I was like blown away by that scene.
Ebert goes on and on about Greg's choice in using experimental lenses that will somehow keep, it's like everything in focus.
What do you call it? I think he called it like a long focus maybe, or something like that.
I forget the lens he was talking about. It was like so experimental at the time, where it was keeping, like when you see the first shots of the house of them in the snow, and it's like you can read the sign, you can see kid little Charles Kane in the foreground, but the parents are also in focus. Like it was incredible.
Yeah, deep focus, Ben corrects. So yeah, the deep focus stuff is almost everywhere in the movie. And you're right, like Ebert goes on at length to say how they were able to film it, and that the lighting is like so integral into how it's possible for you to do a deep focus shot. And there was one, I think, where his second wife was in the club in the background, but there were 2 men in the foreground in shadows. And he's like, the lighting here is so important in the shot. It's like they're using such bright lights to light her in the background and allowing him to get this deep focus shot. And he used it like everywhere. And he even points out too where his parents, give him up outside in the snow. And he even points out that like this is a deep focus shot. Like you can see the father in frame completely in the background. Then you see the mother. And he was talking about how like the decision was made so that like the story requires you to move your eyes along the screen to like who's speaking, who's emoting. It's like you have to kind of like do the work. And he's like, a lesser director would just cut to this person's face and then cut to the other person's face. And I honestly didn't even like catch any of that 5 years ago when I watched it. But yeah, the stuff with, and then that scene that you referenced, Danny, when the mother is like signing the paperwork inside and you can see young Charles Foster Kane in the window.
Oh my God.
In full frame. The camera comes into that room and Ebert is like, now watch that hat on the table when she sits down, it's moving. It's because that table was 2 pieces. The camera went backwards through the table and then they combined the table so that she could sit at the table and sign the contract. He's like, this has never been done before. Like they had to move this dolly camera and then put the table there. And he called that out a few times in the movie. And that's also just like another aspect of this where you're a first-time director and you're making this movie, but then you're also doing like this weird experimental, effect shots that have never been done before.
Right.
like the amount of balls you have to like make that happen and have it work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
you saying when he says that, when I'm glad you said it because I thought about it. When he says a lesser director would have done all these cuts, and when he said that, I'm like, this is his first movie. There's no lesser than your first movie,
Right.
and he's already doing things so much more accomplished than anyone before him.
This reminds me, I came across this subreddit post at one point where it was a picture of Sammy Davis Jr. on stage. And someone was talking about like the detail in the picture. And someone was saying, someone must have traveled back in time to take this picture because the way there's so much detail in it, it doesn't make any sense. Like it's not possible. But then someone explained in the comments of like how it's possible. And they basically said that like, if you look at it, there's stage lights there and it's so bright. There's so much light, but it actually looks dark. But because of that, it's allowing for all this detail to shine through. So what you're saying, like that makes sense that like everything is so bright, but like but it's amazing that it doesn't look that way when you're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like complete magic.
Yeah. And that party scene where all the writers of the newspaper are sitting and like Orson is, they do the song for him. There was a lot of cool stuff about like they would show like the ceiling because they're looking upward and the ceiling is so low. He even points out that like, look at the ceiling. It's not, no actual room would have such a low ceiling. You can actually even see Orson almost hitting his head on the ceiling. And then he talks about the lighting. He's like, look as the dancers walk next to the table, you can see light on their feet. There's lights underneath the table of where everyone was sitting just to provide more light on like the dancers as they're like dancing through. Really crazy. So yeah, I highly recommend the Ebert commentary. I mean, it's nonstop. He's just dropping knowledge.
He's talking
for
the
2
entire
hours. Film. He does talk the entire film.
And it's interesting,
Yeah,
which is
it's super
wild.
interesting. I listened to. There's 2 tracks. I think the other one was like Peter Bogdanovich, which I thought would be like super interesting, but man, I was falling asleep listening to him. And I did that before the Ebert. I would have thought even lesser, unfortunately for him, if I had done the Ebert one first. Proto?
I'm always blown away how this movie starts with the 12-minute newsreel intro. Another thing that just like blows my mind about this, and it's so shocking when it transitions out of it. I find it so engaging, just the way it introduces the character and like this world that you're being brought into, and kind of setting the table for what's to come. And it kind of always gets me because it's kind of like grainy, and you're like, I mean, like I remember the first time watching this being like, oh, this movie from 1941, but then when the newsreel ends and you're in the film room and it's just like, oh my God, like now the movie starts. That it just gets me every time. It's just like an amazing setup and then transition to like this dark room filled with smoke. And then you're just like off to the races with just like insane visuals from the get-go. And so I love like the format of this movie, like the way that it's told. And I always love that intro that it begins with.
Yeah, it like tells the whole story in the newsreel, and then you like slowly get a little bit deeper into the aspects. I love that newsreel too. The design in that era, like it's out of sight. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love every look of it. I mean, the building of his Xanadu and like collecting art pieces them using the archival footage. Oh my God. Like even the way the movie starts, like the shadows of Xanadu and like the fading in of, the stuff that's deteriorating outside. Like, I think that's like genuinely like frightening looking. It looks scary and it looks awesome.
Yeah. Illustration after illustration after illustration, just zooming in on different portions of matte paintings. It's unreal. I think it was genius too for RKO since they gave him just a pretty much full control of this film, to use all of that stock footage made it feel so much larger than just how small of a film it actually is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to use that kind of footage where they would show a crowd and then just cut to like one man talking as if he was in front of 10,000 people. There's just some random stock footage they had that they just let Orson use, which is crazy.
Yeah, I loved every shot of Xanadu. And like even the overhead of the actual like location that they used to say that it was Xanadu, but man, so good looking. Like,
Yeah.
even if the first 10 minutes were the only special effects of the whole movie, you'd be like, damn, that remember that first 10 minutes? They were cooking right at the onset. And then it like as the newsreel ends, you go into that actual room where they're planning it, and the smoke and the shadow, like the first kind of like actual scene of the film. It reminds me of Blade Runner, like the amount of smoke that Ridley Scott was like obsessed with in that movie. And I mean, it worked in this one too. Every scene with like light coming through at like the archive, the banker's archive where they had to go read his like manuscript. That scene is nuts. Nuts. Let's see. Next on my list. I mean, real quick about the news on the march. News on the march. 44 million newspaper buyers at the time when they were talking about it.
That's crazy.
With like his empire. And then they talked about the radio network. Man, newspapers and a radio network. Like you had full control over news. That was it.
Yeah.
What a time. What a friggin' time. The stuff about him like talking about the war. I think this was in the news on the march. And then they were talking about how like, you know, he like predicted things wrong. And it was like him and Hitler in Germany.
Oh my God. Shocking.
I mean, this was 1941. It came out too. Oh my gosh. That was nuts. Them talking about like enough for 10 museums, his collection. And like the shots that they show of his collection, like, you know what? Maybe it was enough for 10 museums. I think they called it the loot of the world. Like it just his collection of stuff, so bonkers.
I do feel that like when he has to like start like sell off like part of his empire, I feel like I don't like it. It doesn't feel like he's like as incredibly rich as he is by the end of this movie. And maybe that's because maybe he like, I don't know, bought all this stuff before, but that's always one thing that feels like not fully maybe like realized or like communicated is like, because I mean, he's so like Xanadu just represents like indescribable wealth, but I don't feel like that. Like I don't see that during the movie in some ways. I don't know.
Well, I think he sold his papers when the Great Depression happened, which I don't even know if they really reference it, right? But then I guess he was like collecting by that point a lot still. I don't know. I mean, a lot of it is like the last few scenes showing the collection, but then also the rooms that they're in when their terrible marriage is happening, like the large rooms. So at least from those scenes, I get some of the wealth. But also it's 1941 and like how much can you show to kind of exhibit untold wealth? I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, those shots at the end of Xanadu are just insane. Like all the stuff like boxed up in that room.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like it's just so cool.
The Ark of the Covenant.
He said that that scene where they like tell them to wrap up and like call it quits. There's like a guy, you know, like a mile away from the camera and he's just like climbing down. They said that was actually in the studio, like the actual, you know, lot. Like that was the studio that they filmed in. It was that big. So they were able to get that shot of that guy so far away. That shot was nuts. Danny?
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about is what blows my mind also is the makeup in this film. For Orson to have to go, and everybody really, but for Orson to play a 25-year-old to a 70-something-year-old really just rocks my world. I think the makeup, even I was worried about, I don't think I'd watched the 4K until this viewing. I was thinking about how he would look when it starts going through the time jumps. And I think he still looks incredible. Like the aged makeup on him, I don't question it really. And maybe it's the performance, maybe it's all the things kind of wrapped into one that kind of just, I can just believe that that's a 75-year-old man standing there when it's actually a 25-year-old actor. It just blows my mind. It really does. And I mean, it's the most prominent when it comes to Orson in the film. I know the other actors throughout the time also get the same treatment. His second wife and the other two people that worked at the newspaper with him. But man, it's incredible. I would even think the kid in the beginning of the film was just Orson playing a child. Because that kid looks so much like him, I feel like. But yeah, I think the makeup in this and the not de-aging, but whatever they do to age these people was brilliant.
Yeah, I wrote down that ironically, him trashing the room at the end where he's like crashing out and destroying his wife's room.
Mm-hmm.
He does a better old man than De Niro in The Irishman.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, he looked like De Niro trying to be a young man kicking that guy in the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the way he's shuffling around, like not bending his knees. I was like, dang, Orson, you're doing a great job at this.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the life and death of Colonel Blimp.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Roger Livesay do some makeup work in that. And that was 2 years later, 1943.
Yeah, they were cooking in the 40s.
Yeah, he looked... great performance to be an old man. I mean, I thought he looked great. Remember that like first reveal of him as a young man in that scene? He looked
Where was People
ravishing.
Magazine Sexiest Man Alive?
Seriously.
In the 40s.
He could do anything.
God, he looked incredible.
Sheesh.
A part of the old man stuff, Proto, he wore a back brace to keep his back like super straight so it would like walk, but he broke his ankle filming the scene where he chases his boss after he reveals that he's going to expose his infidelity. He chases him down the stairs. He breaks his ankle in that scene. And so he has to like hobble around also for the rest of the filming. So that kind of helps his old man performance.
Yeah, I read that he fell 10 feet off that like staircase.
Insane.
10 feet.
He's not a small person.
And then had to like direct it from a wheelchair for a few weeks, which was kind of nuts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that like steel brace idea was a pretty good one. I did read he was like in makeup chair for like 4 hours every morning, getting into old man makeup.
And it's not just him too. Like the Leland character, also has the makeup. Susan as well. Like the shots of her at the club at the end, they all look great too.
Yeah, Jedediah. I think the actor who played Jedediah was like, I think Ebert says he was like, he didn't love his old man makeup and he didn't love his like widow's peak. I think that's why he was wearing like a hat in his scene or something like
that.
The
visor thing, yeah.
Yeah, but Jedediah and Charles Foster Kane. I mean, also an amazing point in the commentary. The first scene where they enter the Enquirer together, they're walking through the room. There's a pole that Kane walks next to. Jedediah, so Kane goes to the right or whatever. Jedediah is about to go to the left, and he stops and he turns and goes to the same direction that Kane goes. And I think Ebert is like, and even then, Jedediah didn't want even this banister to separate the two of them or to separate their friendship. So that's like some of the stuff, like you've watched a movie so many times that like those are the scenes that are being analyzed as like potential, symbolism in the film. And I was just cracking up listening to that. Whose turn is it? Is it Pro's turn? I think is it Proto? Proto?
Yeah, it's funny that you said that at the beginning about people reacting to this movie and like thinking that it was, what did you say, like artificial or just like...
Yeah, it didn't look real.
It didn't look
visual
real.
Effects.
I had this thought while watching this. Now, everybody just relax. All right. But, we talk about like AI and like AI making movies. Like eventually AI is going to be very good because given enough time, it gets very good at everything. So like computers now like play chess better than any human could. And they do moves and like make moves that humans don't even understand. As I was watching this movie, I felt like if we have like, when we have a supercomputer that can make a perfect movie, I feel like it would make this movie. Like I just had that thought while watching this, that there's like something about this movie that feels like it's like too, not like perfect, but just the way that it's formed and the elements of it, it feels like incomprehensible that all these things could come together and this movie be made. So maybe that's where we're headed. Like maybe we'll get more Citizen Kanes, and it's just like we have to wait for AI to do it for us.
Right.
But I couldn't help but think about that like, isn't that like where we're going to be at this certain point, like in our lifetimes, we're going to have movies that are completely made by AI that will be pretty good.
It depends on like, I mean, we watched some of those videos that people were just using that dopey Sora app with.
Yeah.
And we talk about that AI slop. And that looks pretty real. But if you get anyone with like in 5 years from now with half a brain and like maybe like any design sense, they could probably spend some time and make something that looks like this. However, thousands of people worked on Citizen Kane, with talent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in a year from now? I know.
I'm gonna vomit right on live.
Danny, we're not condoning this.
I'm just gonna throw.
But at a certain point, we have to talk about it. People don't want to have uncomfortable conversations. I
mean, AI is not
the show's
going
all
anywhere.
about.
I mean, that's the truth. It's not going anywhere. So, who knows what's gonna do?
But we support Danny. Danny first and foremost. Okay, folks?
I'm not worried about it. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Okay?
Listen, people are still playing chess,
Mm-hmm.
People will still be making movies.
That's true.
I think we'll just have both.
People still play chess?
Apparently.
I gotta research this. Danny, next on your list?
I guess I actually just had a question, which I did because I was hoping one of you guys looked up the answer to. And I should have DM'd you guys.
I'm a scholar.
What is the drama with Herman Mankiewicz? Do you guys know?
The
writing drama?
I did read the Wikipedia before doing this episode. Yeah, remember Mank? I was about to say earlier, the last time we ever talked about Citizen Kane was probably when Mank had come out.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Originally, Mankiewicz, he and Orson Welles each wrote like they were working to do the script, and they did their own version, and then they would go back and forth and like combine it or whatever. And eventually, Orson would like take what he liked out of both, and then made the decision. But Mankiewicz was never going to get a writing credit. I think it was just always going to be like a quiet gig. And eventually he changed his mind and said that he did want writing credit. So there's been decades-long, battles and discussions about like who owns the script and the credit involved. And I think he did have a falling out with Orson Welles. But I believe he did end up properly getting credit for the work that he did. But I think there's still some like ownership stuff that...
Well, they shared the Oscar for it, right?
Because
it won the Oscar for just screenplay.
There was a long battle of him saying he deserved writing credit. I believe he got it. But I also don't even remember the Mank movie. I didn't like the Mank movie that much, but I believe Mankiewicz based the movie on Hearst. And I remember that movie involves Hearst a lot because Mank had like a personal relationship with Hearst and like treated him like trash, if I remember correctly. And that's one of the reasons why this movie, like nothing happened with it when it came out, because Hearst owned, all the newspapers, all the radio stations. So they suppressed,
RKO. Everything
about this movie. Like you're like, none of my newspapers are allowed to review this movie. You're not allowed to talk about it. So for years, it like just kind of went under the radar. And I think eventually he realized that like maybe he was actually shooting himself in the foot by like making people more interested in it over the years. Because I think Ebert even talks about this. He says not until 1958, when there was a 35 millimeter restoration, did most people even see this movie.
That's crazy.
And he was saying how like Sight and Sound was doing these best of lists. In 1952, it was not even on the list. 1958, a 35 millimeter restoration happens. In 1962, it makes the list, and it's the number one movie of all time.
Wow.
I rewound that commentary. I was like, wait, Roger, hold on a second. You're going to have to say that again because I need to get these timelines right. So that, I guess, is probably part and parcel with like Hearst holding the movie down for quite some time. And, maybe Orson flailing a little bit post Citizen Kane. But yeah, fascinating stuff.
What does that mean that they like re-released it in 1958 to theaters? Because how else were people watching it?
They did a 35 millimeter redux of it.
But you're right, Pro. Like if you don't see it in theaters, there's no rewatching it unless it gets re-released. And I guess if there's not some cultural touchstone about it being so successful that it is staying in theaters for an extended amount of time, then you're probably not, and you're not reading about it in the newspaper, then it's just gone.
Right.
That's it.
Right. You can't buy a movie.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, what movies weren't saved in that way? Like, are there movies from the 40s that no one alive now has like seen, and it was maybe great, but it was just kind of like didn't have any buzz, kind of gotten forgotten about, maybe got destroyed. There's no copies of it left or something, and like the great forgotten
think about
movies.
that. I'm gonna throw up.
Gremlins.
It makes me sick.
Let me see. I mean, one of my other points was really just the story of Charles Foster Kane. He starts out as this, wealthy idealist. He wants to get control of the newspaper to do right by the working class. And he runs for public office, and he makes that horrific decision outside of the pharmacy to, does he just immediately have sex with her when he closes that door? Remember when she has the toothache and he's like, right. I have a remedy for that. And he closes the door. Like, good heavens. Like, that was very forward. But his his political aspirations get derailed after that. And he is slighted by this, woman being called, quote, a singer, and then spends so many years trying to make it a reality that she's a singer. But his story is just like very sad. Like he starts out with like really positive intentions, and then he dies alone and tries to, make himself popular. He gets a little bit selfish and it just goes to the wayside. What did you think about his journey as a character in this movie?
I think there's elements of this it's very mysterious, especially kind of like his downward spiral, I guess. To me, like, it feels kind of fuzzy, and maybe it's just like a lack of my understanding of the story. But I feel like there's almost like not enough there for me to like fully understand like why these things are happening, or why his life goes this way, and why he's like seemingly almost like self-sabotaging himself. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's intentional, because I think the ultimate like point to this movie is that people are mysterious, and there's a lot that's going on inside of each and every one of us, and all you can really determine from like someone's life is like the collective moments that they have, and the best way that that's represented in Kane is by like everything that he's accrued by the end of it. It's like, so like, what's the summary of a man's life? And like for Kane, it was like all of this stuff that he had. So even though I think there's things that are kind of opaque in this story and hard to decipher, I think it benefits it in the end. And it's not like, I'm not satisfied. Like, I'm happy by the end with like the way this story, because I think it leaves you wanting. So every time I watch this, like, it leaves me with like that wanting a little bit more out of it. So I think it's great in the way that it's told.
God, we've gone through so much.
Honorable mentions left?
I always gagged on that silver spoon. I love that quote.
Mm-hmm.
Old age is the only disease you don't look forward to being cured of. A sad line. If I hadn't been very rich, I might have been a really great man.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
This movie, I mean, I'm at 5 stars. You couldn't have doubted a 5 star. I think this is a masterpiece. Probably one of the few movies I would be like, this is a perfect film. I don't know if I would say perfect, but it really, every time I watch it, it rocks my world. And I really love it. I need to make it a yearly watch for me, at least. Maybe I just make the Ebert commentary a yearly watch.
Oh my gosh. Get ready for class.
Every time.
I mean, a lot of reviews not a lot, but several reviews point out wanting to see this in the big screen.
I know. Should we?
Yeah.
We have that power.
Oh.
That would be amazing.
In Chicago?
Oh my God. That's kind of nuts. Yeah. I mean, how many? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't hear about Citizen Kane being screened often.
That's
right?
so true. You're right.
Seven Samurai screening every 2 days down the street, at 10 different theaters. Where is Citizen Kane? That would be really fun to do that. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, is it a meetup movie? Is it a meetup movie? It's 2 hours.
That's true. I mean, it's either Citizen Kane or it's Alligator. I mean, what do the people want?
We'll put it to a vote.
Yeah, we'll put it to
let
another
the village
vote.
decide.
We'll figure this out. Let's see some honorable mentions of my own. I mean, how about his mom getting the deed to that land that was on gold?
Crazy.
Can you imagine?
That's such a great little scene too with his father. Like there's just enough to make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's another scene where it's like I want a little more. Like what's the deal with the dad? Like what is this relation? And there's so it's such a loaded scene that doesn't really get expanded. It's great storytelling.
He's going to be brought up where you can't get at him, she says to the father. 50,000 a year until he hits 25. Or I think maybe even the family was getting 50,000 a year. I mean, it was just insane money. The scene where he is doing the political speech and that poster behind him. I mean, I'm levitating even just thinking about that scene with that poster. Ugh.
Where is that poster now?
I need that poster. I need your poster framed on my wall. I mean, the art that you did, unbelievable.
Oh, thank you.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
I need a Citizen Kane t-shirt ASAP.
I'm listening.
After I get the Proto Curie t-shirt that is also now in our store.
I forgot to say I saw the Rosebud. I got to see the actual sled in the Academy Museum.
Really?
They have a great little display for it. I put the photo in chat. It's a really cool display. Rosebud. You can see it.
Yeah, that's a great photo too. Would they say they burned 8 or 9 sleds, and then the fire police came because the flue caught fire and it was a disaster? The office ticker that he had was his business guy was at Bernstein, checking that office ticker. I meant to just Google the history of the office ticker.
Can we get a ticker? I want a ticker tape thing. Grace
is making fun of me saying the fire police. Grace, I regret to inform you, that's what they were called back then.
I think this is Bernstein. I can't remember. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see. I took a picture of it. This shot of this guy at this desk in this chair. Look at the size of this chair. This isn't real, right? This isn't a real office. They miniaturized. I mean, they oversized everything to make it insane looking.
That guy was good too. How about the newspaper office having the gas fire lights? Those gas pipes running all up in there. Oh my God. How did people, I mean, I know there were a lot of fires back then, but how was it just not constant in the city?
I love that scene where he first comes into the paper and it has all those old guys who are clearly from a different generation. These guys are still living in the 19th century. The suits they have on with the little bow ties. That was so fascinating to think that there were still people dressed that way working in a newspaper. And how they viewed the world. And then here comes Orson in like this tuxedo, and he's like, you know, he's like the new generation. That was pretty mind blowing, just like seeing that transition being displayed.
Iron Butt 69 is wondering why I haven't made any Simpsons references yet. And I'm just trying to, you know, people expect it. They expect me to mention how Citizen Kane has showed up in The Simpsons many times. But I'm not going to, I won't mention it. I'm not going to talk about it. The circulation of his newspaper, I wrote down, quote, circulation. Remember things like the circulation of things? I guess maybe the New York Times still cares, but like you never really hear it talked about anymore. It's just so different how like newspapers were it. That's it.
That was it.
When's the last time you've seen a newspaper?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
I went to, when I watched the Post recently, I went to look up to see how much it would cost to get the paper. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't find it. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know how to get the paper in Orlando.
Wow.
Leland as an old guy. Yeah, the Mr. Burns poster Paul posted. I mean, even the song has been parodied. He bangs her to help her toothache.
What the?
It's one of my notes.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't go into
Doctors
that woman's
recommend it.
house, he could be governor. Who knows what happens after that? Him saying Jim Geddes. I mean, just such a cool name, Jim Geddes. Him saying Geddes.
You make that my Xbox
Geddes.
username.
Also, boss Jim Geddes.
Boss Jim Geddes. It
Boss
sounds like
of
a
what?
I know, it sounds like a Dukes of Hazzard villain. And that guy wins. He rocked his
won.
world. He absolutely destroyed him.
Him saying my first act, a prosecution of boss Jim Geddes. A little too close to home. Some of this stuff. Some
for
of
real.
his talking points. Holy crap.
Very realistic stump speech. Him and Leland don't speak for years after he writes that review. Remember, he fires him as he's like falling asleep writing that negative review. There's
How
a
do you
lot
fall
to be
asleep on a
mined.
typewriter?
Yeah, how are you not waking up with like bumps on your face from those keys? I mean, there's a lot to be mined, I feel like, from him and Leland's relationship. You know, they talked about, I think he like mentions how they went to school together, but there's just a lot unsaid about their friendship. The opera, her singing.
I didn't think she sounded that bad.
I
There's
think
like one note at the end. It was like terrible, but I didn't think she was terrible.
She's not an opera singer though. Like she's not hitting the highs.
The note.
Yeah. And then she just, I wrote this down too, Proto. When you mentioned the split diopter, when he's writing the review and Leland comes in the background, I was like, is this a split diopter? But even then he talks about how, no, it's not. And it was done in, he called it something pretty cool. He was like, I can't remember. It was a phrase that I'd never heard before. And maybe it was just essentially cutting the film and connecting them together. But yeah, it was two different shots and they combined the film. Nuts.
Yeah, the opera, I love the scene at the opera where it's like her first in there and then it like pans all the way up through the backgrounds to the two workers who then like kind of shrug at each other. But then like as it's going up, like the audio changes so that it feels like you're also really ascending with it. And she's like further away. Amazing scene.
I think Bernard Herrmann also had to write that opera.
My God. I did read that he had like crazy long time to do it. It was like 12 weeks or something. Their marriage sucks. Yeah, I mean that montage of
that passing of time, that's so good.
Yikes.
Amazing scene.
Oh my God.
I would be kicking her out of the house, honestly. Like she's just so annoying. She's so annoying. And I know he ruined her life, by forcing her in an opera. But I mean, he's like reading his paper and she's droning on.
Oh, you're talking about her. I thought you were talking about his first wife.
Oh yeah, the first wife scene.
No,
that montage scene where like they go through the time.
No, I'm talking about toothache.
Oh,
just rough stuff. There was something else. Where was it? Gosh, there was another note. Oh, I mean, the thing that Ebert talks about a lot is the lighting of the scenes, where I guess this was revolutionary at the time, where they would have the front of something lit, like they would show the front of a house with like windows or whatever. They would have the front lit, and then they would light the back, and then they would stop lighting the front, and then they would like cut to another scene that with like a similar design. And they would do that in so many scenes where like the front and back would be lit at different times, and it just created an entirely different view of that room. So I mean, it's that in and of itself makes it like worth another rewatch. Just the amount of times they did those crazy lighting changes.
That match cut from the outside of the apartment to the newspaper illustration of the front of the apartment.
That was nuts.
God.
That was nuts. He's got a lot of employees that work at Xanadu. Like when I think there's a scene where like he dies and there's like 50 people just like hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
One guy's like writing a statue.
Yeah, the shadows in this movie are really nuts. I love to like hearing the commentary. You know, the reporter is interviewing people that work there, and the one guy who did hear him say Rosebud, he just kind of, you know, he seems skeevy, like he would do whatever for the money that they're offering, and then he like puts his cigarette out on the marble, like in Xanadu, and then Ebert's like, you could just see, look at this guy doesn't care. He's putting his cigarette out on the marble. He doesn't care about Kane. That was great. So yeah, just another. I mean, seek out the commentary, buy the disc, listen to Ebert. Or buy it digitally. It's included in the Apple extras as well.
We'll put a link in the bio.
We'll put it in there. But yeah, this is a stone cold masterpiece. Five bags popcorn. 5 stars for myself, for Citizen Kane. Pro.
Yeah, Denny, you mentioned earlier the transformation of their marriage with his first marriage at the table is so good. Such like, it's amazing how they can just like describe this relationship in really like 60 seconds. And it tells you everything you need to know about how it deteriorates over time. Masterful. There's a scene at the beginning when he like dies, and the nurse is walking in. There's like this chair in the frame. And then Kane's hand. Whenever I see that shit, I'm like, what am I even looking at? Like, there's so many shots in this movie. It's like, how did they even compose? Like, where do you start? Is there a class I can take? Like, how do they come up with this stuff? It just blows my mind, some of this stuff.
Honestly, like, I referenced Blade Runner, but I'm getting like Boss Baby Blade Runner vibes. You know, you watch Blade Runner, then you watch this. Because remember, they did so much stuff in camera.
Yeah.
And to like achieve a lot of this stuff. And yeah, it's just so cool.
He has a line about not participating in the war. He said that would be the end of the world. And this is like before World War II. I just thought that was real. There's so many like interesting lines up like that are ironic throughout this that are really great. Oh, when the reporter sees Susan for the first time and then makes that phone call, how about like the time where you would call an operator, tell them a number, then the operator would call that number and then connect you to that person? Just like the thought of that is wild.
And then remember that you'd have the women connecting the lines. Remember in those like huge telephone rooms? Oh my God.
A lost art. He has the line, "You provide the poems, I'll provide the war." And I think Jedediah says, "What would you have liked to have been?" Or maybe this is to his wife, and he says, "Everything you hate."
Oh,
God. His high-waisted pants coming up to his nipples. One scene. Amazing. He's collecting somebody who is collecting diamonds. That's money right there. Oh, him being called the fighting liberal. So funny to me.
I loved his quote about how he was an American. Like they show it on the title card. But Yeah, that he says it. Like, yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. Running the story fraud at the polls because he lost.
Mhm.
My God. He was disappointed in the world, so he built his own.
Mm.
Oh, then when him and his wife are fighting at the end, and she's like, "You have all these habits." Not a habit. I do it because I like it. Just Orson's delivery is so good. Oh, when they have like that extravagant party or like barbecue or whatever at Xanadu, and there's like those animated birds flying in the background, like that too is like there's animated stuff in this movie like that.
The jungles of Florida.
He said all kinds of things that didn't mean anything. Yeah. 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 I mean, it's a masterpiece as well. 5 stars. Easy. This movie. It gets better each time I see it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Easy. Maybe the easiest 5 in show history.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Could be.
Easiest 15.
Drink when I say Roger Ebert's name on the show, but there was another thing where the bird transition. Where do you remember that?
Yeah,
Deanie, when like
the cockatoo?
they showed like the cockatoo, and then he's like, "Look at the cockatoo's eye. You can see right through the eye. That's a mistake."
Yeah,
but he kept that in.
Kept it in. Kept it in.
All right, so we have some letters. Listen, folks, I forgot a letter last week. Danny didn't do his due diligence to confirm.
I literally said,
we have to be more steadfast in the letters. Okay.
All right. I'll help.
Call me out.
You have 3 this week.
I have 3 tonight. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Blake writes in about Ferris Bueller. This
is the one you missed.
This would have been ideal during the Ferris Bueller episode.
Yeah.
Hey guys, long time, first time. Thanks, Danny, for picking Ferris Bueller's Day Off. A huge win to start the month. And maybe the biggest win in podcast history.
My God.
At least until my Cage pick is finally chosen.
Uh-oh.
Ferris Bueller is an easy top 4 for me. I just love everything about it, especially as a child of the 80s. And while I never did hack into my school's database to change a grade, every time I watch, it brings back great memories of the early internet, cruising around town with friends, and of course, singing Danky Shone in parades. For a long time, there was no soundtrack to this film. And upon arriving in college and getting access not only to people sharing files on the network, there were other means of acquiring music at speeds far better than anything I'd experienced before. And one of the first things I did was put together my own soundtrack with custom artwork for the film, which I still have to this day.
What the?
My love for this film knows no bounds, even to the point of naming my firstborn Cameron. Keep up the great work on the pod and fostering such a great community in the village. That comes from Blake. Thank you, Blake.
That's huge. Thank you, Blake.
I mean, everything changed with Napster. You talk about like, society shifting moments. Napster's got to be in the top 10, right?
Yeah.
Top 10, easy.
Huge.
Easy.
LimeWire. Remember LimeWire?
Yeah.
Every moment you used LimeWire was a potential moment your computer could explode.
Yeah. Am I destroying my family computer right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Which of these BitTorrents do I click on?
Please do not destroy the family computer. I don't have enough hours to rebuild and reinstall Windows before everyone gets back up. Next letter. Actually, everything's about Ferris Bueller. But next letter from Noah. Thanks, Danny. I mean,
you're welcome.
Every letter is just thanking Danny at this point.
You're welcome. Thanks,
Danny, for choosing One of the Goats. I watched this film right before I started 6th grade and became one of my favorite films of all time. That's why my name is Ferris McFly. Now, since you've done one of the 80s goats, you have to do the other one. Please, please, Slim, when you read that, sing it like Sarah Carpenter. Do Back to the Future. I'm begging you on my knees, please.
Jesus.
Anyways, hope Proto doesn't diss on my boy Ferris too much. That comes from Ferris.
Got him.
Sorry.
Back to the Future. I mean, we did our first meetup was a surprise screening of Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if we did Back to the Future? Can you imagine it?
Maybe there's a Roger Ebert commentary with that.
Oh, my God.
You learn something.
Teach me.
Him talking about Doc Brown's dog food, that gross ass moldy dog food in that corner of the house. Mess. Poor dog. So next one comes from Scott. Subject line, save Ferris. This is the last one, folks. So happy that Danny picked Ferris. This is my number 2 favorite in what I call the 80s Chicago trifecta. Number 1 being the Blues Brothers.
Okay.
And the third, another comfort flick, Uncle Buck. In 2018, I was lucky enough to win a VIP trip to Chicago and Lollapalooza.
What the?
During the days we, the wife included, didn't care about what bands were going to be playing. I visited a few filming locations of these classics. Chicago is an amazing town, and I would kill to go back. Ferris holds a strong place in my heart to my... Ferris holds a strong place in heart to my first daughter being named Sloan, to my beloved hockey team, the Detroit Red Wings, via Cameron's jersey. And was Cameron a rebel for wearing a Red Wings jersey in a Blackhawk town? I know I was when I wore mine to the Philly Spectrum and got carted out by security. That's a story for another time. Day Off is watched almost yearly by the Marvel family, quoted often. Anyways, as usual, love the pod and big props to you all for pounding out a ton of content during October and November. P.S. The Red Wings beat the Flyers in the Cup that year. Just saying. Your pal, Scott. Absolutely psychotic decision to wear a Red Wings jersey in the Spectrum.
What's the Spectrum?
Spectrum was the old arena in Philadelphia for the Flyers and the Sixers. Classic building.
Is the Red Wings their rival?
No, not really. I mean, but back then they were, I think, a West Coast team. We were an East Coast team, so we only really met in the finals.
Oh, I see.
Back then, East Coast teams didn't even really play West Coast teams.
Because they couldn't make the finals?
We made it. We didn't win. I mean, you got these people celebrating being alive during 2 Dodger wins. I've not been alive for any Flyers wins.
Oh, really? You haven't?
No. Never had a win for any of my teams.
I think I'll start pulling for the Flyers for you.
Thank you. It's tough out there.
Yeah, I'll be a Flyers fan.
Real tough. Next week, Proto, it's your pick.
Yes. We're going back.
Pick. Let me pull it up here. The Long Goodbye. 1973, Robert Altman. In 1970s Hollywood detective Philip Marlowe tries to help a friend who is accused of murdering his wife. Elliot Gould is the star. 4.2 average on Letterboxd, so this is up there. It's not in the top 250, but it's close. Danny, how do you feel about going to be watching this week? Finally.
Yeah, I'm happy to finally do it on the podcast because I mean it's one of Proto's faves. It's fun to talk our faves. I've only seen this once, so I'm excited to revisit it. Excited to do some artwork for it. Don't know what I'm going to do yet, but real excited. Real excited.
Take your time.
Okay.
I wonder where this places on the IMDb highest rated movies. Can anyone do the legwork? I don't feel like loading that website again on this computer.
You can't. Now a tree's burning down.
Pardo, any closing thoughts this week?
Yeah, I wanted to give a movie recommendation this week. You know, Citizen Kane is about a man, mysterious figure. It really tells his life story. And I love movies like this. I think they're really compelling where, it's like the sprawling tale of one person. And here, Charlie Kane, he's kind of larger than life. So like a figure that can't be realized. Like it's hard to imagine in the real world. And I think movies like this are rare. They don't come around a lot. But one that I do love, from 1999, Bicentennial Man, starring Robin Williams.
God damn it.
Plays Andrew. And it's another great story of a long life, long history, fascinating story of an android. So check it out.
We will see everybody for the long goodbye next week, streaming in a few places next week. "70mm" is a tape deck production featuring original artwork provided by Danny Haas. Spiritual guidance and V'ger, the robot who loves movies, provided by Pertalexis. Producer at large Dale_A. And music composed by Cinematrix. Prints and other merch are available on 70mmpod.com. This episode was mixed, edited, and produced by me, Slim. Support our Patreon for access to our VHS Village Discord to talk movies with new friends, access to our exclusive episodes in the 70mm vault, discounts on merch, uncut episodes, and a physical membership card mailed to you. To check out other Tape Deck podcasts, find the link in the episode notes. And if you'd like to support our friends at Letterboxd and upgrade to pro or patron status, you can do so with a 20% off discount using the links on 70mmpod.com. Goodbye.
This is a Tape Deck podcast.